So good afternoon and welcome to
Good
Freetalk with
afternoon.
Mr. B.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you.
It's such a pleasure to have you. As I know very little about you and even the global audience, um, what can you tell us all about you?
Well, I'm an international author, speaker, and coach on emotional mastery. And my doctorate is on effects of meditation on human mind and happiness. So I wear different hats in different times, depending being a coach, a therapist, a mentor, because there are 20 different coaching and therapy modalities that I practice. But it all depends on where you are at to where you want to be. That's my objective, to make the journey for you as easy and as smooth as possible.
And so as a client, I will come to you for exactly what services, what must I be going through to come to you?
You are not coming to me for a particular service. You are coming to me to tell me this is where I am at Navana, whether it is in relationship or finance or career or health, and this is where I want to be.
I see.
And all that hardware and software that is required in the frame of your mind and emotions to make that journey, I will be there to hold your hand.
Okay, so then I'm hearing that it's not necessarily that I'm emotionally ill. I just want to enhance my life and my mindset from my emotional perspective. Is that what it is?
Well, the quality of your life equals to the quality of your emotions. You can have $1 million in the bank, but if your emotional state is of that of frustration, depression, loneliness, are you truly successful?
I see. And so then how can you help me? I mean, just to understand the emotion itself, what would you say?
See, the word emotion means what? Energy in motion, expressed positively or negatively.
Right.
So no emotion is either positive or negative. Every emotion is a messenger who holds a very important information, a message of value for you. It tells you where you are at life, whether you are on track or off track. So for example, if you are feeling angry, what does the emotion of anger tells you? That your personal boundaries have been violated at some point and you need to stand up for yourself.
Right.
So every emotion has a message that it wants to deliver to you.
Okay, so I'm just thinking about the message itself. Like you said, it may be a good message or a bad message, but how would I manage it? How
A
would I
message
know?
is a never good or bad. A
Okay.
message is a message. Emotional mastery is about harnessing the power of your emotions to achieve fulfillment, success, and empowerment in every area of your life, from relationship to health to finance to career to business. Like if you want to be very successful in your relationship, you have to be emotionally fit for it.
Yeah.
If you want to have great finance management, you need emotional management before that.
I know Mr. B is a very emotional man, but I
Congratulations.
but I don't know the good or the bad, or how to separate the two, and how to help myself go forward using the power of my emotions, or am I already doing so?
See, all of us are emotions because this world is running on emotions, whether you like it or not. We buy something because it makes us feel good.
True.
The entire game of advertising runs on emotions.
So I'm still coming down to the how do you know on some of these things we're talking about. Your book, I know I want you to talk about it. Let me let you go ahead and talk about it because I'm curious about that chapter 41 again. Tell me about the book.
What exactly in that chapter you want to ask me about?
Because I would want to know more about me, and your book says, I think in chapter 41, that you know you, and you know you well. And I was wondering, how can I or anyone get to that state to where we know ourselves well?
Absolutely. It's a good question you asked me. Because see, in today's world, anytime we are feeling low, we are feeling down, we are always pointing our finger outside. If we are not happy or fulfilled or content, we are like, change this job, change him, change her, change the business, change the career. But the actual change does not happen in the outer world. The actual change has to happen in the inner world.
True.
And that's where it starts getting to know yourself. I want to actually tell you, there has been a very interesting research that happened in Virginia State University, where they took some volunteers from the age of 18 to 77, and they asked them to sit for 6 to 15 minutes by themselves alone with their thoughts and emotions, or to self-administer shocks. And the results were shocking. Because what happened, most people preferred to self-administer shocks than to sit with themselves only for 15 minutes. One person, he found it so frightening to be with himself, he actually administered shocks for 190 times. Can you imagine that?
So looking at that results of that analysis in Virginia, it says that we are insecure with our emotions. What is it really saying?
In today's world, there are too many people around us who are either feeling, they are too worried about the past or anxious about the future. They're overworked, overtired, they are unloving, untrusting, they're demotivated, disconnected, bored, or they're simply stuck in an emotional pattern and they just don't know how to get out of it.
That would be many of us, yes.
Yes, and this last year of this pandemic has pointed it out to us, in tangible results.
So the approach or the solution, what is it? How do we help ourselves?
See, in my book, Emotional Mastery, I have made it very simple. There are 3 cornerstones for emotional mastery. And I'm talking about mastery, not just controlling your emotions. Because controlling is suppressing.
Okay.
It is mastering your emotions. So the first step is I have this 7-step emotions breakthrough formula. Very simple, very easy to follow. You can do it from your home, at office, whenever you feel you are emotionally off track. Take a few minutes, follow it step by step, and you are back on track. It's like relieving the symptomatic effects of your emotions.
Right.
It's like, let's explain it in this way. It makes it easier. When you have a migraine, right, and your head is throbbing with pain and it stops you from doing the daily work, what do you need at that time? A painkiller.
Right.
The painkiller is the step 1 emotion breakthrough formula. You follow it step by step and the symptomatic relief is immediately there. Your migraine is gone. But your migraine might be happening because you have an internal issue in the physical body, some sort of deficiency of nutrition.
Right.
So if you do not cater to that, your migraine will come back after 1 week.
So it's just dealing with the root cause of the problem, right?
So this is where we go even deeper, and you need a lot of courage to go deeper. It's not meant for faint-hearted.
Okay.
So there comes step 2, inner child healing, where we go across time, back through time to where these issues started, when and where, and heal it from the source, the manufacturing unit. For example, it's the 0 to 7 years. When we are baby, we are absorbing like a sponge everything around us in a subconscious mind, and everything we are absorbing at that time, that affects 80% of your adult life thoughts. Isn't that amazing? And once you have healed yourself from the core, then comes step 3, maintenance, what we call with energy diet, where I have sourced, these amazing, powerful, healing methodologies from ancient traditions of the East.
And you captured those in the book too?
Yes, yes. And a simple example is that of energy diet is we all need to have food for breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Right, we're supposed to.
Yes. And every food has its own spiritual quality and emotional quality. So if you want to bring cheerfulness in your life, you add more cherries in your morning breakfast.
Right.
You imbibe the emotional and spirituality, spiritual qualities of that food within you as well.
I would have to discover what kind of emotions mangoes bring out, because that's my favorite. So maybe if they have the same vitamin and mineral base as cherries, it might help me too. So.
Mangoes bring a lot of willpower and passion.
Really?
Because it's a lot of fire energy to build up your fire energy.
Oh, no wonder I'm feisty. I love my mangoes.
See, there you go. It brings a lot of joy. Like if you're a fire energy person, right? Because I've written all of this in my book, Emotional Mastery, because first what we do, we find out what is your element energy. There are 5 elements, right? Earth, water, wood, fire and air. They are the forces of nature that is making this entire universe move around.
Right.
And we are also made up of these 5 elements. So these elements tell you which emotion triggers you, which emotion rules you, and which emotion nourishes you. For example, you can be always like an angry boss type, or a crying baby type, or even like a caring caretaker.
Or somewhere in between the two.
Yes, all of us have one predominant element and energy and emotion within us. Normally it's 1 to 2, but one will be predominant. So if you're a fire energy, for example, you will be somebody, the main emotion for you will be of joy. And the corresponding emotion that will be ruling your life, triggering your life, will be panic and impatience.
Wow.
And your main organ to take care of will be your heart.
Right. So I can't wait to dig deeper into this book, because I know self enough that I am quite emotional, but I don't know self enough to know what's the triggers. So I'm going to definitely look at that. From a successful businessman, you can also like mindset coach them too, and use those same aspects of their personality in order to enhance. True?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I would imagine the book alone solves that, but it may not be enough.
Yes.
What would you say?
Yes, absolutely. There are different layers of healing. I'll give you an example. I had one client, she came to me, I remember, I've mentioned about her in the book as well. She used to get angry very quickly, and she was in a leadership position in her organization. Angry about little things, from whether to choose to wear this dress or that dress.
Right.
To her colleagues, her teammates, not able to finish their project fast enough for her. And she knew deep down that it's not worth it to spend her energy and emotions in anger, but even a lot of times you know it theoretically, but it is much difficult to walk the talk.
Right.
And she just didn't know how, she was doing meditation, she was going to classes for workshops, and she would feel good for a short time, and again it would come back to her. So when we did a complete energy element analysis, we found out her main element, she's a wood personality.
A wood?
A wood personality,
Okay.
The main emotion is that of anger.
Okay.
She was an excess of wood. See, every element within your system needs to be balanced. It cannot be too high or too low. You can't enjoy your tea with too much of sugar or too less of it.
Right.
It has to be the perfect balance in life.
How did you know?
So she had an excess of wood energy, and that's what was imbalancing the entire anger issues in her life. And wood also governs the liver. You know that every organ is a storehouse of a particular emotion.
Yes, yes.
So when you are not expressing your emotions in a healthy way, you are gulping it down because you want to maintain peace.
Right.
You want to be a people pleaser.
Especially in relationships too. And
yes, in
work or
relationship,
home.
in work, with your boss. We are doing it all the time because we are so obsessed with our image of niceness that we want to be that perfect daughter, that perfect
That would
spouse,
be me again.
that perfect, colleague, that we want to please everybody. And we keep gulping down our emotions. So what happens? These emotions faithfully get collected in a particular organ. And liver is the organ that collects the emotion of anger. And what we found out with Helen is that she also had weak liver issues.
So it matches the analysis.
Yes, absolutely. So once she started working on that, and she followed that 7-step formula, she went, back and did some inner child healing, and she came out of it. And finally, one day she was saying, "Navana, I don't know what you did with me, but it's working."
Very good.
My
very
colleagues
good.
are telling me that I'm far more approachable now, because
Right.
you see, the emotions actually develops a pure and raw connection with others. When you are authentic to your own self, you're authentic to everybody else around you.
And it helps to know. It helps to know what you're going to work on. So that's
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
So now, where would everyone go? How would they find you? How do we hope they will find your book?
From my website, drnavanakundu.com. I am also available on Instagram, which is also at Dr. Navana Kundu.
And Dr. Navana, you live mostly here in Dubai.
I mostly live in Dubai. I also travel quite a bit for my workshops. Because of this pandemic now, since last year, most of the workshops are online, so I can actually reach out to even more people. So you can also attend my workshops, or you can also go for more one-to-one personal sessions if you feel that your issues are deeper.
And so it's www.what?
drnavanakundu.com. Simple, my name.
drnavanakundu.com.
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. We look forward to that. I look forward to a signed copy of your book, and I'm going to have to study it, because I just know I'm an emotional man, but don't know exactly whether I'm wood, fire, water, or otherwise.
You are a fire. You are a fire.
I am fire. Okay, good. That's a good thing, right?
You are a fire, but you also have water as a secondary element.
I would love to see all of this analysis, because I would like to at this stage in my life, as a retiree, I would like to use it, understand it, and share it. So,
yes, absolutely.
no, this is fantastic, and what you're doing as a form of giving back to the world, whether someone becomes a customer or someone starts to recognize that something is there that drives them, I think it's a wonderful giving back to the global community. And that's what we talk about on Free Talk with Mr. B. We talk about what can you give back to the world, and a service that makes us feel better is a wonderful form of giving back. So we thank you so very much for that.
See, I also feel that, emotions are so contagious. When you are working on your own emotions, you see one person laughing, you will feel like laughing.
Okay. So
it spreads like a ripple.
So where did you get your PhD? What state? Is it back in the US?
Yes.
So I'm thinking, if they call you back now to be a keynote speaker, and you gave a wonderful speech, but at the end you wanted to leave one thing with them to remember, because the last thing they would remember, what would be that one thing you would like to tell them at the end, as a sentence or a paragraph, that you really want them to remember before you close?
I want to tell you, it does not matter which stage of life you are in right now. It does not matter what your career is, what your financial situation is, what your health status is, what your relationship status is. But how successful you are in life depends on how emotionally fit you are.
How emotionally fit you are.
Yes.
That is something they will have to remember, and as that graduating class moves on, I think they can point to you, your website, and your book to get the full sense of their emotional wellness. And the book title again?
Emotional Mastery Toolkit for Success.
Not just fixing it, not just touching it, mastering it.
Yes.
Emotional mastery.
Yes,
thank you
absolutely.
so very much, Doctor.
Thank you, and you are bringing the spotlight on this different way of living that is much more holistic, much more happier and healthier. So you are doing an amazing job, and I want to thank you for that.
Oh, thank you very much. I would like to have you on again, because I know there is more to talk about and more to elaborate on these very subjects. So I look forward to that into the future, and especially when you travel into the United States, where I normally live in Houston. So thank you so much, and talk to you again.
Wonderful. And you are welcome to come to India and Dubai.
Oh, definitely, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.